once, we got in the ring, he was so locked in. I was so locked in, like there was nothing really to say. We both locked in and we both focused on the task at hand. It was dope. And I appreciate Dre for even, giving me the opportunity to step in the ring with him. I can say that, I spar Andre Ward. That's dope.
Do you switch up who you are? Be who you are. Control the ring as much as you can. Use your jab. Be ready for the defense and keep going. The only way I see Madrimov beating Terence Crawford is if he is himself and he does not waver from that.
In the boxing world, all eyes are laser-focused on the highly anticipated showdown between the undefeated WBO welterweight champion, Terence "Bud" Crawford, and the rising star, Israil "The Dream" Madrimov. As the fight inches closer, fans eagerly await the epic clash between these two exceptional fighters. Among those eagerly anticipating the Crawford-Madrimov fight is none other than Andre Ward, the legendary boxer and current boxing analyst. Known as one of the greatest boxers of all time, Ward's opinion holds significant weight in the boxing community. Recently, Ward and Crawford sat down for an exclusive interview that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. During the interview, Ward shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, providing his expert analysis and insights. He praised Crawford's exceptional skills and experience, highlighting his impressive resume and unmatched talent. Ward also acknowledged the potential threat posed by Madrimov, emphasizing his youth, power, and determination. After the surprising sparring clips of Terence and Andre hit social media, it became the talk of the town, with people drawing their own conclusions about the relationship these two fighters share. However, after analyzing this recent interview, there is no doubt that what these boxers share is a brotherly bond, judging from the light-hearted and meaningful conversation they had about life and Terence's possible retirement from boxing.
Many people's pound for pound list, you're the best fighter in the world and been that for some time now. You just knocked off Errol Spence, who I believe is still the true great fighter. But you made it look easy. Like, life can't be the same as it was 3, 4, 5 years ago.
And it's the same. I don't know what to call it. Like, you got those people that had doubt come up to you and want to take pictures with you and talk about the fight. But for the most part, everything that I do and the people that surround me and be around me, everything is the same. Nothing's changed.
You seem to be that kind of guy just to post something one day like, bro, what? He done?
No. You did it.
That's what I'm saying. You might do the Andre Ward.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll do it in the ring.
During the interview, another topic that captivated the audience's attention was the potential return of Andre Ward from retirement. Terence Crawford, a renowned boxer himself, boldly expressed his belief that if a company offered a staggering $100 million for a one-time fight, no fighter on earth would turn it down, not even someone as accomplished as Andre Ward. Terence's statement reverberated through the boxing community, sparking a flurry of speculation and excitement. Fans and analysts alike began to ponder the possibility of seeing Andre Ward step back into the ring, eager to witness the brilliance that had once defined his illustrious career. Nevertheless, the allure of a potential $100 million payday proved to be an irresistible temptation for many retired fighters. The sheer magnitude of the offer would undoubtedly be life-changing, ensuring financial security for generations to come. Moreover, the opportunity to cement one's legacy with a final epic performance would be an irresistible draw for any fighter who had ever stepped into the ring. While Andre Ward has yet to publicly comment on Terence Crawford's claims, the mere possibility of his return has sent shockwaves throughout the boxing world. It remains to be seen whether Ward will ultimately be lured out of retirement, but one thing is for certain: the boxing community is eagerly awaiting his decision.
For $100 million, Andre SOG Ward, and I'm saying this in the camera right now, Andre SOG Ward will come back right now for $100 million. Promise you.
I gotta pray on him.
Yeah, you gonna pray, and then you gonna say, God told me to take the money. I'll tell you this. God gonna tell me, hey, God gonna tell me I got one more in me.
Yeah.
In the interview, Terence Crawford highlighted his remarkable experience with Turki Al-Sheikh, the Saudi Minister of Sports. Crawford expressed his deep gratitude for being a part of a monumental event hosted by His Excellency in America for the first time. He acknowledged that this opportunity, presented through the Riyadh card and Saudi involvement in boxing, has had a significant impact impact on his career. Crawford enthusiastically shared his profound admiration for Turki Alalshik's unwavering commitment to promoting sports and his vision of elevating Saudi Arabia as a global hub for major sporting events. He emphasized how Alalshik's passion and dedication have revolutionized the boxing landscape, providing a platform for fighters worldwide to showcase their talents on a grand stage.
When he reached out, he wanted me to come to Saudi. I always had something to do, but he told me, he was just like, "You're my favorite fighter, and I want you to fight more often than what you've been fighting in the past." I'm like, I've been wanting to fight more often. Politics has led me to being out the ring longer than I really would like it to be, but it happens. Everything happened for a reason, and I'm here now, and hey, it was a good run.
Throwing shade at his former partnership with Bob Arum's Top Rank, Terence disclosed how even though he is a world champion and one of the greatest fighters right now, there are still people, especially promoters, who criticize his fights for not doing well and not generating the same hype as other fighters do. But regardless of this negativity, Terence looks satisfied with his performance both inside and outside the ring. He stated, "Everybody else, all the promoters say, oh well, Terence Crawford can't sell. Terence Crawford is bad for business. Terence Crawford this and Terence Crawford that, all the negativity. But when you look at my numbers compared to the fighters that they trying to push, it's night and day." Coming to the fateful fight on 3rd August, Terence looked confident in his abilities to fight against a young fighter such as Madrimov. Detailing all the training that he went through in his 6-week-long camp, Terence stated that even though his first preference was to fight Sebastian Fundora, he still thinks that Madrimov is not someone who should be underestimated, as he has a stellar amateur record. He stated, "We wanted to go into Fundora. He is who initially we were going to try to fight, but he said he wasn't going to be able to fight this year, and we wanted the fight this year, so we had to go to the next best option, and that was Israil." He further added, "We know skills pay the bills, and come August 3rd, we're going to be ready for everything that Israil brings to the table. We know he's strong. We know he has an extensive amateur background. He's a great fighter, and he has good movement. We never took him lightly. That's why we went to Vegas and did the pre-amp." This being said, Terence is not the only one who is ready for this huge battle, as recently clips of Madrimov, vigorously training in the gym, have also surfaced. Shocking everyone with this speed and punching power, it looks as if this upcoming fight may not be as easy for Crawford as many fans and critics believe it to be.
I was over throwing up. I wasn't sick of the food. I was hungover.
Yeah, big difference.
Big difference.
A healthy hangover.
It wasn't because of the food. There you go. Everything is sick. There you go. Everything is sick. You get different.
Meanwhile, Israil has also shown his interest in fighting with Canelo after he wins his fight against Crawford. Expressing his respect for the more experienced fighter, Madrimov stated that Crawford is one of his favorite boxers, and he is looking forward to fighting him on August 3rd, which will give him a chance to finally fight Canelo.
All time say it's my favorite boxer, Crawford, because he moving, lefting, righting, smart, Yeah, my favorite boxer, and I think it's pound for pound #1 boxer. August 3 fight. August 3. Now who's champ? And then maybe Canelo Madrimov. Maybe.
With both the boxers looking to be in their best shape, everyone in the boxing industry is over the moon about this fight. From talking about the similarities between the fighting styles to the overall experience that the fighters have, many pros have given their takes and predictions about how this fight will most likely turn out. Terence Crawford's trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, recently came out to express his thoughts on how this fight with Madrimov will play out. Talking about Bud, Bomac emphasized how he is a very hard worker, despite being at the level and age he is at. According to Bomac, this endurance and the sheer skills that Terence possesses will play a huge part in his fight against Madrimov. He stated, "Terence is just going to go out there and do what he's supposed to do. Know that much. He's a hard worker, man. One of the hardest workers I have ever seen. So whatever he wants to do in there, he going to be able to do it. Because 1, he going to be in shape, 2, mentally. He is already ready. And just 3, because he got that will." Not underestimating Madrimov as an opponent, Bomac stated that he is a very good boxer with an excellent record when you consider that he is still very new and young in the boxing scene. But despite this, he also pointed out some things such as defense that Israil needs to work on during the fight if he wants to have even a chance at winning. He stated, "He Madrimov is good damn good. He is dangerous, strong, and determined. No fancy footwork stuff is going to fly with Crawford though, because if he tries that, he is going to get picked apart." He further added, "But you never know what he brings to the ring. Every fighter is different. Every fight is different, so we'll see how it goes, but he better pick his hands up. If he doesn't, he will get plastered with punches." With such a huge event taking place in the heart of the city of Angles, everyone is buzzing with excitement, including Eddie Hearn, who thinks that this upcoming card will be one of the most memorable events in boxing, not only because of the big fights, but also for the fact that many celebrities, including the well-known rapper Eminem, will also be there performing before the fight commences.
I can't quite believe what's happening August 3rd. I mean, throw in a bit of Eminem as well, performing a few tracks, and it's going to be a wild night in Los Angeles, August 3rd.
Looking forward to seeing his fighter go in front of such a large crowd for the very first time, Eddie stated that Madrimov is ready for this big event and will most definitely give a tough time to Terence, as according to Eddie, Terence is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters who has gone to different weight classes to compete and has remained pretty successful, but this time he might face defeat as Madrimov is much stronger and faster as compared to him. He stated, "Terence, in my opinion, is pound-for-pound #1. I mean, Israil Madrimov is with me and Terence is not, and I really want to beat him. I also admire and respect him, and he's also a really nice guy, like the funny guy in boxing." He further added, "But you see, the thing is with these greats are they go through the weight divisions because they have to for their legacy, and they're just too good. The hope is that eventually you go too far, you come up against a bigger man, a stronger man, and I believe that could be Madrimov. I mean, this guy was one of the best amateurs to ever come out of Uzbekistan undefeated, a professional who just won the world title in Saudi Arabia." Though Eddie thinks that this fight will go in favor of Madrimov, others are a little reluctant about it, including Tim Bradley, who is a former boxer and notable boxing analyst, who thinks that even though Madrimov has a good fighting style and a very good undefeated record, he is still not on the level to fight someone like Terence, as he lacks the discipline and the technique to properly time his shots, which may prove to be lethal against a guy like Terence, who is very adaptable inside the ring.
Where's Madrimov strong? He's an aggressive guy, really off rhythm type of fighter. He doesn't always fight on rhythm. I call him a bricklayer. Heavy hands, he'll place the shot here, he'll place a shot here, and he'll sneak you over the top. So he has a sneaky left hook, a sneaky looping right hand, and he'll start jabbing, stab, jab downstairs to bring the defense down. He takes his time, You see him moving his hands and, trying to get himself in position. He does have some angles. He can switch it. However, a lot of the things that he does, they're skillful, but they're done at the wrong time.
Talking about Crawford, Tim stated that he is a great fighter with extraordinary skills even though he is 36 years old. Emphasizing his point, Tim stated that Bud is excellent in dealing with aggressive fighters, especially his past opponents such as Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, and Benavidez and Madrimov is a match made in heaven for him, as he is also someone who heavily relies on offense rather than defense. Tim commented, "Who is Crawford facing now? Oh, he has a great amateur background. He had a great pedigree, but he's a bully type, a strong, come-forward type of fighter. You see, the trend here is that the guys that come forward and are strong, Crawford knows how to deal with these types of styles." Also, thinking that Crawford will win this bout, well-known trainer Greg Hackett thinks that on August 3rd, Crawford will finally show everyone that he is a world-class fighter and deserves the utmost respect not only from his fellow fighters, but also from the whole boxing community. He also stated how although Madrimov is a very good fighter who will be able to hold himself against Bud, he will still not be able to win this bout.
But I think this is going to be one of them nights where we see Bud turn into a hell of a boxer. Not because he's going to be scared of the guy. It's nothing like that. It's just he got to be completely careful and smart. And we're going to see Bud picking his shots. And where I thought maybe he'll stop Madrimov, I think it's just going to be an 8-4 decision. You know what I mean? Because Madrimov looked mentally tough and mentally strong enough to be able to handle round by round with Bud Crawford. Not beat him, but just be able to handle the pace things like that. When the adjustments are being made, he looked like he'll be able to adjust to it too.
Greg also talked about the training session that Terence Crawford had with Andre Ward, stating that this will prove to be very beneficial for him, as it is not every day that a former professional fighter and world champion spares with you to give you important tips about boxing. Greg also stated how this size difference between Terence and Andre, with Andre being almost 210 to 220 pounds, will help Terence in building his endurance inside the ring.
No, we're definitely looking at a stronger Terence Crawford. And one thing that he did that's very smart, he brought an educated Andre Ward in for sparring. What that does is you in there with a bigger guy who can think just like you, but he's dealing with a different strength level. So Andre Ward naturally is a light heavyweight, right? 68 light heavyweight, maybe walking around right now like 210, 220. He look big as shit.
Yeah.
And I could imagine they wasn't in there trying to kill each other, but just to be in there and feel that difference in strength and size and height, you know what I'm saying, that's going to prepare Bud really well for this fight.
On the other hand, Virgil Ortiz does not look too happy about this fight, as he has made multiple statements about how he was supposed to be the one who should have fought Madrimov instead of Crawford, as he is the top fighter in the weight division and was mandatory for the WBA title. Also, on the August 3rd card set to fight Tim Tsaizu, Virgil still thinks that he is being ignored by the world champions, despite being a worthy contender who wants to move forward in his career by defeating big names.
I'm supposed to fight Madrimov. I'm the #1 contender for the WBA. You know, once a boxer becomes a champion, they have to fight the #1 guy. It becomes the mandatory. I'm the mandatory. If they're gonna skip over me, that's gonna be up. You know, is it a good fight? Yeah, but I'm supposed to be the one fighting Madrimov. When I heard that news, I was like, what the like? That's supposed to be me. You know, a lot of fans say, oh, how come we don't fight this guy or whatever, or well, I'm trying to fight the best, but I mean, you see that it's not up to it's not under my control. Like, if it was under my control, I would have fought the world champions already at 140. I would have fought him at 147. You know, it kind of, it feels up. You know, I feel like I'm just kind of on the sideline at this point. People are getting mad at me for not fighting the best. Well, like, I'm not getting the opportunity.
Giving his prediction for the upcoming fight between Terence and Madrimov, Virgil shared the same opinion voiced by many by choosing Bud as his champion, stating that despite Madrimov being a hell of a fighter who is excellent inside the ring, he is still no match against someone like Crawford, who is just another animal and is one of the best fighters on earth right now. He stated, "I think he is, Madrimov, a good fighter. He's athletic, he hits hard, and he's smart, but Crawford is just a different beast. I don't think anyone except me at 154 can beat him. As he's a tough fighter, he's arguably pound for pound #1. He added, "You got him, you got Usyk, you got Inoue. These are some tough toss-ups right there for #1. So I just don't think that Madrimov beats Crawford." Joseph Parker, who is a professional boxer and a world champion, also thinks that this fight will go in Crawford's favor, as at this time, there is no fighter in the middleweight or welterweight division who has a better style than Crawford. While recalling his days when he used to spar alongside Crawford, Parker stated that when he was inside the ring with Bud during their training, he was astounded by his ability to adapt to his opponents and switch his style accordingly.
Joseph is a scary foot, isn't it?
Terence Crawford stance though, like, it's quite incredible that he could fight both ways a whole entire fight. Like, I remember trying to switch it up in training camp and I felt like an amateur. You know, so it's quite incredible that he can do that.
Predicting Crawford to ultimately have an upper hand during this fight, Joseph thinks that Crawford will most definitely win, though maybe not by a knockout as many may think, but he will still be the one who comes out victorious in the end.
That's a tough challenge, like Chris said, but I stick with Crawford.
Yeah. Knockout or points?
Sharing the same idea as his fellow former boxer, Chris Algieri also thinks that Crawford will have the upper hand in this fight, as he is just the superior fighter who has excellent skills, and if everyone considers the motive that Crawford has in mind of moving from his current 154 pounds to 169 to get his dream fight with Canelo, there is no way he will make this fight easy for Madrimov. Despite this, Chris also thinks that if by any chance Crawford ends up losing this bout, his career may not be damaged so much as he has done enough already. Clarifying his statement, Chris added that though there may be quite a difference in the position of Madrimov and Terence, Madrimov is still a very good and skillful opponent who now has the ultimate chance to fight big guys in big leagues, so there is no doubt that he will bring his A game.
Madrimov is a little bit different. You know, it's you know, he's jumping up one weight class as the guy with only 11 fights, and it could adjust you know, the concept of Terence Crawford's career. Not majorly. It's not going to knock him off. knock him completely off. But no, there's definitely a risk taking the Madrimov fight.
He also stated he's good. Madrimov can fight, he's a real champion, and it's the biggest weight class he's ever been in, against the biggest guy he's ever fought. So you know there's a lot of risks with the fight, but I mean, the way that Crawford is moving recently, they are tactical, and if they saw something in Madrimov to make this fight, then it makes sense. Antonio Tarver, just like everyone else, thinks that Crawford will most probably win in this fight, as he is much faster and smarter as compared to Madrimov, who is just starting in pro boxing. Not undermining the young boxer as well, Antonio stated how this fight will ultimately be a great one to watch, as Madrimov is not only the best guy in the weight division, but is also not going to be beaten very easily, as he relies much more on defense and his hard jabs, and if any of them can land on Crawford, it will cause serious damage. He stated, "You gotta take a hat off to Crawford for stepping up, but also picking and choosing one of the toughest guys in the division. I think Crawford wants to make a statement. I mean, when you look at this guy's frame, it looks like he's just a few pounds from Canelo, so he's going to be a strong guy." He added, "I believe Terence just has so many things in his bag, and I think he's going to have to fight off his talent. Let his talent lead him. Don't go in there trying to bang with a banger. You know, as long as he can deploy a good defensive strategy, make sure he doesn't take no unnecessary shots, I think he can control him." Madrimov. Chris Mannix, a senior boxing analyst and writer, thinks that even though Crawford might win this fight, it will not be a complete whitewash, as Madrimov is a huge threat in this division, and the decision may partially go in his favor, resulting in a split decision, which is something many people might not be willing to admit, considering their bias to their favorite boxer Crawford. He stated, "I'm going to take Crawford's split decision because I think it's going to be an incredibly competitive fight. I just think Madrimov is the real deal. I think he's a real fighter." Sean Porter also thinks that it is anyone's game because at this stage both fighters have their strong points and unique fighting styles. Talking about Madrimov, Sean believes that despite many people talking about how Madrimov is not a good match for Crawford and how he should not be getting fights like these this early on in his professional career, the young Uzbek fighter is not someone who is easy to beat. Giving pointers to Madrimov about what strategy he should employ against someone like Terence, Sean thinks that it will be the best option for Madrimov because he relies on his instincts rather than trying to be someone he is not. Praising the young fighter, Sean emphasized that Madrimov is someone who knows how to move around the ring and lure his opponent in his web to strike them.
Yeah, you know, some guys don't have an ability to switch up who they are, what they can do. Madrimov is the kind of fighter, he's going to be aggressive, he's going to be in your face no matter who you are. The thing I really like about Madrimov is he's not the kind of fighter that's just going to walk up to you and then punch. He knows how to move and punch at the same time, cut off the ring, and he starts with the basic, the jab. He starts that to put you in a better position for himself. I would tell him, I know this is very cliche, be yourself. We all hear that all the time.
Talking about how Israil can win against the mighty Crawford, he said, "My advice would be that under no circumstances do you switch up who you are. Be who you are. Control the ring as much as you can. Use your jabs. Be ready for the defense and keep going. The only way I see Madrimov beating Terence Crawford is if he is himself, and he does not waver from that." Talking about his past opponent in quite a good light, Sean commented on how it does not matter if a guy is bigger or smaller than Crawford, because throughout his quest to move up the weight class, he has developed a mindset to always believe in himself and his capabilities that allow him to be a better fighter inside the ring.
There's two things with Terence Crawford, and the number one thing is his mental fortitude. The dude is just tough as, you can't even compare his toughness, his mental toughness. So that's number one. If you tell him going into the ring, he hears, oh, that guy's stronger than him, he's gonna in the ring on fight night, he instantly is going to want to show that he's stronger than the other guy. Very, very smart, intellectual when it comes to training, getting ready for his fights. He's been hitting weights for years. That's the thing that people didn't know about. So as he's moved up these different weight classes, he's already strong and physically muscular, and the endurance is there, the muscular strength is already there because he's built himself up to be in the weight class he belongs in. 135, moving up to 140, he's already hitting weights. Coming to 47, he's already hitting weights. The physical adjustment we might think he might need to make at 154 is already there because he's been hitting the weights for years.
Even though Porter lost to Crawford way back in 2021, it looks like he has all but praise for his fellow boxer, who is on a mission to defeat Madrimov to finally become an undefeated world champion in all weight divisions, and to show the world that he is one of the greatest fighters of this generation. So in the end, who do you think will win this fight? Will it be the experienced Bud Crawford, who has barely ever tasted defeat despite moving up the weight class many times? Or will it be the young blood from Uzbekistan, who is no stranger to this weight class, who ultimately ends up victorious over a highly skilled fighter? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel.